We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. Tony Rogers here, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. I hope all is well with you. We are in some interesting times, as I'm sure you all know. And I believe that the most important thing that we can do is just to be thankful for every day, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So we tend to sometimes get stressed out about what happened in the past or what we fear for the future. And we forget about the wonderful gift of life at the present. And that's something that is very important. And hopefully you will keep that in mind the next time you get anxieties, which is not difficult to do, especially if you look at the news. Sometimes I don't, because even if I am saying this, it's sometimes difficult to do with all of the things that are happening. But nevertheless, we are, almost at the end of the summer, and it has happened so fast. Harlem Week starts next week, literally, and many of you can either go to the Harlem Community News or WHCR Radio at 90.3 FM to get the schedule or this show. But the best updated schedule is at harlemweek.com, because things are being added all of the time. That's how we started in 1974. It started out as a day. And then as we started to become popular, we started adding days because we wanted to make sure that we focused on the things, whether it was then in 1974 or now in 2024. The important things of any community is its youth, its seniors, its business, its culture, and the things that are education, the things that allow for us to actually survive. So this particular Harlem Week will mark actually the 50th anniversary of Harlem Day, because it started out as a day in 1974, and now it's actually has expanded it. Before COVID, it was almost a month that we were celebrating. It was the longest week in history, as someone had said. But now, technically, we started the first, and we end on the 18th. Harlem Day is always the third Sunday in August. And there are a lot of different events that are taking place. And even every week, we have to kind of change the schedule because so many things happen. And so many other things are happening during that time and are actually doing certain types of dedications in salute of the 50th anniversary. One event, as you know, um, the mayor's office has always been supportive of Harlem Week and the Urbanology show. He's been on twice, and we appreciate the ability to allow for the second black mayor of the city of New York to talk about things that are always not talked about in the press, and that's the administration that he runs has done so many wonderful things, and unfortunately, the way life is, I suppose, the focus is always on something that's not positive. However, uh, we try here to allow for the positive to overshadow the negative. So that's what's happening as it relates to our relationship. And based on that relationship, one of the activities is having throughout the city, and we'll talk more about it when my guest comes on, is the Rise Up program, where activities, a major stage, and and artists are brought into the community to perform, and it has been very successful. And my guest today will be Dr. Ingrid um, Martin, who actually is the chief advisor to the mayor, and is pretty much on top of this particular project. So I wanted to allow for Dr. Martin to um, talk about what it is, what it was, and what the plans for the future will be. And that's taking place start on August the 3rd. So this was a timely, and again, it's in different boroughs. I understand. I was watching the conference today that the mayor usually has. It was taped by New York One, and Staten Island will also have the Rise Up stage there at some point. So it's it's getting around. It's becoming popular, and it's also a way. And I'm probably preempting some of the things that Dr. Martin is going to say, but it's also a way to provide information for those who are for those who come out and see major artists that they might not be able to afford to see in stadiums or in large box theaters, but uh, they also are able to receive information about how they can be helpful to themselves, health information and the like. So it has been successful, and we are looking forward actually to having that become one of the events that we are indirectly a part of. For the last 2 years, actually, it took place. The Rise Up program took place on Harlem Day. On the first one was at 135th Street stage at St. Nicholas, and last year we were on 100 at 35th Street again, but on the Fifth Avenue stage. Actually, it was a stage that they built on Fifth Avenue, and Stephanie Mills was one of the featured artists, and it was a tremendous show. So we have had some history with the program, and this year they're spreading it around a little bit. And one of the other things that I want to make sure that you do is to go to harlemweek.com and make sure that you look at the many schedules of events that are taking place. There's a job fair that will take place, and that's going to be something. It's going to be at City College, and you'll get the dates once you go to the site. Uh, uh, and we will announce that probably next week. All of the different activities that are taking place, but that's one that will be important. It'll take place at the City College of New York, and and I'm pretty sure it's August the 14th, and you will be able to talk to people who actually have jobs. Most of the people, one of the things that we asked uh, the participants who are going to take part in this particular fair, as with last year, is that after having a conversation, you should bring any documents that you would bring in any particular type of interview, and many people will walk out with career developing employment or just jobs that will allow for them to uh, do the things that they might need to do in order to improve the quality of their life. So that's one of the things that I believe that is extremely important. Um, some of the other things that you, as I had mentioned before, when we first started, we wanted to focus on youth and seniors in the main because there is something important about making sure that you focus on in this village your youth and taking care of your elders. So there is a senior citizens day that takes place, uh, and that's on the 9th at the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building. That will allow for seniors to receive uh, health information. There will be entertainment, different types of things that are focused, and and one of the things that I understand the fire department will be involved, and 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 Captain Lurie was the first fire chief for the New York City Fire Department, uh, and there's a film that has been developed and will be released, and they plan to show that. Um, so that's part of some of the things that will happen. And I know that the important thing here is to know that there's an economic development opportunity always during Harlem Week. There's always been a thought that we should create ways to develop the the Harlem area as well as New York, but you can look at many countries, many cities, many states. They have been able to use tourism as a way, as an economic development tool. Uh, Actually, that when the Honorable Percy E. Sutton came to the Honorable Hope R. Stevens. Hope R. Stevens was the first black president of then the Uptown Chamber of Commerce. And we are finding that his mindset was to, and he was a visionary, to allow for tourism, because at that time in 1973, 74, New York City was in really bad financial uh, issue, had some serious financial issues. And actually, the Daily News, I think it was 1973, had a front page picture of Gerald Ford telling New York to drop dead. He didn't actually say that, but he might as well because he didn't give any money because of some of the issues that he had with the way the city was running. And he created a type of a situation where, for a period of time, New York City was in dire straits. And it was, again, Percy E. Sutton was the borough president of that time. And he had this vision that let's focus on the more positive aspects of New York. And of course, the more positive aspects of his beloved Harlem. But the thought pattern was let's use the tourism and hospitality industry as the tool that will lift us out of this. So New York State, New York City, it was the I Love New York campaign. It was so many different types of projects that came about that helped this journey. One, again, was the day, 1974. Actually, it was August 18th, which is interesting because August 18th was the 50th anniversary date, which is in a couple of weeks. But August 18th, 1974 was the first Harlem Day, and the focus was to begin the revitalization of the Harlem community. Actually, the theme was the beginning of the second Harlem Renaissance. And that theme uh, was something that allowed for visions of where we are now, even though I must admit, I did not have that, uh, but nevertheless, it was something that we are now in the middle of, I would say. I don't think we have, we are in the middle of the second Harlem Renaissance. Uh, but on that day in 1974, one of the first things that took place was that we were able to rename 7th Avenue to Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard, which was the first time a New York City street had been named after a person of color. And in previous, as we moved on Harlem Week, the second Harlem Week, we as a ceremony, we renamed 8th Avenue as Frederick Douglass Boulevard. And on the third year, we made Lenox Avenue, we renamed that as Malcolm X Boulevard. And that was the first time these, things were new to the city of New York. And we also, as I said before, created a type of a relationship with the various community based organizations where we gave them an opportunity to show what they were doing. In many cases, in the media, most of the things that came out of urban areas, Harlem being included, was negative. So the ability to promote the positive things that were going on in 1974, and there were many of them, we just didn't hear about them, was our ability to make the world understand that Harlem had not died and that it will continue to be that capital. I would like to say black and brown capital of America, uh, but that's not necessarily how it is now. Nevertheless, it is the foundation of has been the historic foundation of culture. Matter of fact, I don't know whether many of you had the opportunity to see the Harlem Renaissance transatlantic exhibit at the Met that really was outstanding. Um, Something that probably will never happen again the way it did because uh, it was just such a wonderful way of showing how the diaspora was able to continue, even though during those times it was not easy for anyone that was poor, but especially black and brown. It was very difficult. But the artistic ability did not suffer, and it was outstanding as to what was being done at that time. And interesting as we talk about Renaissance, as I mentioned in 1974, the Harlem Renaissance, the second Harlem Renaissance was the theme. And fast forward to today, we have our first major hotel in Harlem, and it's called the Harlem Renaissance Marriott. So that theme has been um, consistent as relates to Harlem and the beginning of new things. And as president of the Harlem Tourism Board, uh, it was important to develop close relationships with the Harlem Renaissance Marriott, and they became a corporate sponsor actually of HTB in partnership with us, developing ways to bring groups, bring business to them. And just this Saturday, we had a wonderful tour of 60 public administrators from around the country. It was the National Forum for Black Public Administrators. And they had a conference in Jersey, and they wanted to see Harlem. And and it was a busload, about 60. And again, we went to the Renaissance for a brief program. Then we walked to Sylvia's. Then we walked to the Schomburg. And in each one of those visits, they were able to uh, do what tourists do: spend money, get gifts, create ways that it helps the economic opportunity for those who are in the tourism or tourism related business. And that's what it's all about. That's the way that uh, the Honorable Percy E. Sutton envisioned it. That is the way that Honorable Hobart Stevens envisioned it. I can't say that actually Lloyd Williams and myself were the first uh, offices under Hope. Ward was the first vice president of the Uptown Chamber of Commerce, and I was the first program director. And I don't think that we envisioned it, but we were with and had the gift and honor to be with individuals who had a larger vision that we had. However, uh, they put their faith in us, and we've carried the torch. What's great about this is that there are a lot of young people now who are beginning to pick up the mantle. I mean, the Marco Nobles and Winston Jets and Beatrice Bolden and many of the young people who are doing things, whether it's the chamber or Harlem League, as far as the administrative component of it. So there is a lot going on, and it has been an interesting journey, which is part of the theme, uh, the 50th anniversary theme, the journey. And I'm just happy to be able to have the opportunity to be a part of that and to be able to have the relationships that have been developed over the years. Uh, Soul City, Soul City has provided an opportunity to uh, write our own narrative in a sense, or to make sure that people uh, in the future will have an understanding of what the Second Harlem Renaissance was about and who were the people who contributed to uh, the rise of glory, of a wonderful, just like the Phoenix, a wonderful urban village that had been uh, popular for many, many, many centuries. So again, as you can probably tell, I'm kind of dancing. I think that there were some technical problems with the chief advisor, Martin. So I'm trying to keep it interest until they tell me that I need to do something different. There, there are, one of the things that, since I do have the stage, one of the things that uh, happened over the weekend was I was able to go to the new comedy club in Harlem. Nikki Sunshine and her husband, uh, Jamie, just opened a new location. They used to be over on the far east side, right by uh, the shopping center over on First Avenue. Um, but now they're on St. Nicholas Avenue, 147th Street. And if you Google uh, Comedy Club in Harlem, you'll be able to get their information. We had a very good time there. They have a very nice space, uh, very good food. I'm glad that they kept whoever was doing the food in the far east side. Uh, they must have kept because the food was good, and the show was a all female night of comedians, and they were pretty interesting. you know, Even made old guys like me blush a little bit with some of the things that they were talking about. But it was a lot of fun. So please check out Comedy Club in Harlem. There's going to be a lot of other things, and if you go to the calendar of events for Harlem Week, different types of events promoting many of the night spots, and there are many of them. One of the things also that is happening is Summer Stage, and the Harlem Week group will provide entertainment around a few days, I believe, starting on August 8th. And at the same time, there's a wonderful farmers market that will take place at that point. So those are some of the things that you can look forward to. The three actually major outdoor events that take place during Harlem Week is it was the Great Day in Harlem, which takes place on August the 11th at Grant's Tomb, which is at 122nd Street and Riverside Drive, and that's always a wonderful event. Gospel because there's a Sunday, but we have uh, a concert under the stars with Ray Chu, who uh, will release his new single "Jam Party" um, on the 1st of August, and that has become the official song for Harlem Week 2024. So, Jam Party, he has, a lot of Harlem people on it. He has else uh, Dougie Fresh and MC Light and a lot of people, Stephanie Mills. A lot of people are on that song, Jam Party, and we've adopted that for the official song for 2024. So look for that. I think that you will enjoy it. And Ray Chu, as many of you know, has been at the Apollo Amateur Hour, the BET Awards, Dancing with the Stars. I mean, he's done so much, and it's always interesting because Ray uh, came and grew up in Harlem in the Grand Projects. We know Harlem Grand Projects is, is a location in Central Harlem. That's where Ray grew up. So he knows this location. And we were talking, we went from Harlem to Hollywood, but he always came back. And he's the musical director for Harlem Week and has been so for some period of time. So he will perform on the 11th of August at Grant's Tomb. On the 10th, however, there is Robin Bell Stevens and Jazzmobile. They have a wonderful free concert in Central Park, Jazz on the Hill. And that has been an event that it brings a lot of people out. Always a wonderful concert. And that's again on the 10th. And moving up to the two last major events for Harlem Week is Summer in the City, which is August the 17th, and that takes place from 135th Street in St. Nicholas all the way over to 135th Street, Malcolm X Boulevard, Fifth Avenue, actually. And music, fashion shows, all kinds of wonderful entertainment. Uh, Hundreds of people are out. And on the last day, which is the 50th anniversary, we'll again be on 135th Street. And we will uh, do a lot of interesting things on that 50th anniversary. It'll be like a reunion. And I hope that one of those activities, those who are listening, I hope that you are able to come out and join us. So um, that's pretty much where we are. I'm not sure. I haven't received any information as relates to our guests. I know that there were some technical problems, which always takes place. But I thought that would be important to know. One of the things, if you go to summer streets, you'll be able to see all of the different locations that they're going to be. I'm not. I'm sorry. Rise Up, and I get them mixed up sometimes because there is also a Summer Street, and uh, we tend to sometimes because Summer Streets also is taking place on August the 3rd. So Rise Up is taking place, Summer Streets is taking place, but Rise Up is a major, major production. And I think uh, if you are on 125th Street between um, Adam Clayton Powell Jr. and Frederick Douglass, this would be a place that you would like to come to. I'm not seeing, and I'm trying to see whether or not, uh, and I, one of the great things about uh, technology is that I was able to. I think there are some difficulties as far as with Dr. Martin, but this morning, again, the mayor had a wonderful press conference, and I was able to actually hear Dr. Martin talk about Rise Up, which started in Brooklyn. I believe when the mayor was a senator, she's been with him for some time now, it seems. And it went so well that as mayor, he kind of duplicated the success. And I was waiting, but I'm not sure whether she will be able to come on. I wanted her to make the announcement, but it is my understanding that Patti LaBelle will be one of the featured stars in Rise Up this time period, and that's going to be interesting. Patti has always been one of my favorites. Where there was no LaBelle when she went solo. No one had lungs like Patti LaBelle. So that'll be interesting. And it's interesting also is because, like most artists, Patti LaBelle and Patti and the Bluebells started at the Apollo, which the stage is going to be right actually in front of the Apollo. So uh, it's like a coming home for her. But again, there are so many different things that are happening in August. I know people are looking at this uh, from around the world and around the corner. Uh, uh, but nonetheless, you can go to HalloWeek.com and you're able to see the schedule. Uh, you should check it often because there's always things that are adding. Um, Hopefully, by next week, we'll also have the schedule on the GoHarlem.org site. And but any newspaper, most of the newspapers, most of the media, there's so many media partners with the Harlem Week organization, all of the major channels, this particular broadcast network, as well as the Daily News, the Amsterdam News, the New York Times, all of the many ways that you communicate, and now online also, you'll hear or start to hear a lot about the 50th anniversary. I'm sure many of you have started to hear it already. But again, it's been a labor of love, a lot of work, but so many things have happened. So many people have actually uh, made whole in a sense based on some of the things that have taken place, whether it's the many thousands of dollars of scholarships that have given out, or the different companies that were able to become major entities based on the experiences that they were able to and networks that they were able to make. Uh, Many artists, when we were on 125th Street, it was the place to be. That stage at 125th Street, in front of the Adam Clayton Powell Jr. State Office Building, was a major place. I mean, we had literally thousands of people between Frederick Douglass Boulevard and Malcolm X Boulevard. Actually, there were three stages, but the major stages in front. And we built that stage. It was a major theatrical endeavor. And of it, Kool and the Gang, Richard Pryor. I mean, anyone that was in the limelight in the 70s and the 80s and in the 90s at some point came through Harlem Week. So this 50th anniversary will will be a reunion, and a reunion that will take place that I'm sure will allow for many people to catch up with one another and to basically reflect on many people weren't born when Harlem Week started, but uh, now we have actually great grandchildren doing some of the things that their parents and their grandparents did as far as being involved with Harlem Week. So uh, it's been a wonderful journey. I appreciate the time. And please, I am sorry that Dr. Martin was not able to come on, but technology is not always in our favor. Uh, but please, Google Rise Up New York. The mayor has made sure that wonderful talent will be made free to community folk. I have to salute uh, Dr. Martin and the administration. I, I'm. It's unfortunate that many people, some may not have New York One to see um, the press conference that the mayor does. The administration, I'm sure, without a doubt, and I've been working with City Hall for 50 years, through Harlem Week, and even with the Honorable Dave Dinkins. Mayor Adams has the most diversity in his administration as I've ever seen. When the he's surrounded by very smart and intelligent women. I haven't seen so many female deputy mayors in the history in my history of dealing with City Hall. And he indicated that he wanted an administration to reflect the residents of the city of New York, and he has done that in a big way. And I salute him when he's on the show. I always make reference to that because it's never really acknowledged, and I think it's important to do so, especially now as it relates to uh, be coming up for the second term. And we hear so many different things, but what you don't hear is, even in the press conference today, how the whole issue of housing has been attacked. I mean, this mayor, at one time, there were buses coming from Texas every day with hundreds of immigrants who were not clothed correctly. I mean, it was a crazy situation that he had to manage, and this was something that there was no budget prepared for it when it started happening, and it's probably still not. And to be able to manage that and still keep the city going is remarkable. I mean, I don't know uh, whether I don't know if anyone else would have been able to do it. It would have taken someone with that type of a skill set that he had, dealing with government, being in Albany, being on the police force, being able to navigate all of these entities because of understanding of them, allowed for him to be able to put together an administration, many of them, as I had mentioned, first female commissioner, police commissioner, first female fire commissioner. Uh, that history is, Dr. Martin, who's his chief advisor. And I mean, I can go on and on. So if you have New York, whenever so often they show the interviews, the press conference. But remember that, because sometimes if you just look at the regular media, you don't understand what's going on. But this mayor has done some wonderful things. We would like to have him on board, running the city for a second term. And let's see how that goes. And of course, there's the national election, but that's a whole nother show and a whole nother conversation. But I have enjoyed having an opportunity to talk, to give you some updates. Rise of New York will be in Harlem on August the 3rd. Summer Streets, which is a DOT program, will be in Harlem on August 3rd, August 10th, and August 17th. And of course, Harlem Week will start August 1st and go to the 18th. Go to HarlemWeek.com for information. So thank you. I had not expected to do a solo, so I had to do the Sandman, to keep dancing until the curtains open. And I hope that I've shared with you some information that might be helpful to you. And again, Harlem Community News, pick one up, HarlemCommunityNews.com. If you want to see the schedule, Show City will have it, and you'll be able to get it in just about any radio, newspaper, or social media outlet that you have. So this is Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology. I think this might have been my first solo show. So I hope that you all were not too bored with my conversation, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Urbanology.